behind. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet. Not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to Pizza Race TV, now live here in Indianapolis, Indiana, at the historic venue of Indianapolis Motor Speedway's the Brickyard, and it is time for a 55-lap shootout for the Green Mountain Grills drivers, as we are now presented here on Pizza Race TV. Hi, everyone. I am the Crusader Christian Driver with you here live tonight. It's time to get down to the business, time to get down to the things here with the Green Mountain Grills machines. Here we are as we start pulling off here. This is our starting lineup for the gridding order tonight. Greg does any fan Janzik, the number 40 will start a line with the outside of him. Be Sean the Bounty Hunter Bounty in the number 34. Row 2, James the Marauder Harris pilots the number 4 to his outside. Christian Wilcox in the number 53. Row number 3 is going to be Robert the Mullen Man Lawrence in the 5 to his outside. Tyler Meeks in the 35. Row number 4 is going to be Josh Ball in the 6 is outside. That is Nathan Meyer piloting the number 1. Row number 5 is going to be in the 9th spot. Jason Taylor in the 15 is outside. Brock Whitehead, the 82. Row 6 sees George Young in the 48 is outside. Sheldon Pearson in the number 8. Row number 7 is going to be Garth Snyder in the 88 is outside. Dakota Wilson in the 52. Row number 8, Steve Clegg in the 22 is outside. Daniel Half in the 32. Row number 9, Triple Trey, kid to play Whitehead in the 33 is outside. Adam Strom in the 95. Row 10 sees William Mann Jr., the Man Beast in the 29 is outside. The 20, that's Jacob Givens. Row 11, John the Attack Rock Homeland Mayor Thacker in the 56 piloting the outside with the race control man himself, Eli the Wild Child. Robert Wynn, the 16, and Stephen Flass will pilot the 69 in their drivers respectively. And finally, out of the lineup, Josh McCondill in the 23, Russ the Fullboard Kilgore in the 2, Zach Derrick in the 10, and Charles Whitehead in the number 51. Race fans, time to get a little bit of madness here at the Brickyard. It's time to bring the Green Mountain Grill Fast in Front Truck Series back out on the track, back out for show. Down to see a few showstoppers and a few headlines here on this circuit. This certainly looks to be a heavy artillery race here between these drivers. Nobody is going to be left for granted here. They will have to do their best to manage and make use of everything. We'll pilot them on around downtown here, as this race is presented in part by our good friends over at Green Mountain Grills and their website, greenmountaingrills.com. Check out all their local listings for their grills and their hardware. It's time to bring them to life and bring the drivers on full pace The 2.5 mile square rectangular shaped oval is now about to bring some fenders together and bring some draft into the backs. Off the top of the turn forward to the front straightaway they go down the elongated long road to the bricks below. Time to head it down at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. "55 laps to the distance here. We're going to go off the start here with this anti-fan Greg Jansen coming to an early start. The outside pulling it straight back to the bottom to get an early run. The Marauder James Harris will follow in pursuit as the field will hunt them down. This is going to be all about patience, endurance, and technique here. These drivers know they cannot be making mistakes. Simple mistakes here with the draft can cost them the race lead and chances on the brigade. Down the elongated back straightaway here. This anti-fan Jantic trying to get the draft away from Harris out of the start. Jason Taylor, number 15, puts it 2 spots up off of the first set of corners here, down through turn 3 and 4, and this is really going to be the toughest thing for these drivers out of the gate. Is how well can they hold their trucks on line and not burn the tires up too quickly. They've got to kind of let the tires settle down too a little bit, get from cold to hot, so that they don't spin too hard through when they hammer it down through the entries and the exits. I was down there practicing a little while ago with the Marauder James Harris. I can tell you, man, this track, when it's on a draft line, it's on a draft pack scenario, you've got to watch yourself. This place will tear you up and it will swing you straight out of the ballpark if you are not careful. There's a reason why people call this the place for the Indy 500. It is truly a remarkable facility and a place of so much history and making in its running, but it can be one of the toughest tracks to race on and win on, to say the least. And it doesn't matter how fast or how hard you run around this place, the only thing you can do is just hope for the best and hang on. On board here with Christian Wilcox, number 53, as he tries to hunt down the old red, white, and blue of Joshua Ball, the number 6. Ford versus Chevy here in this little tussle here as the Champion Power Equipment, number 53, tries to came up on that 6 machine. Coming around downtown, here we go. A little battle up front. The Marauder found an opening. The draft line catching Jantic, and Jantic with a big issue off the exit there. Runs it right too hard off of the 40. You saw the rear end slide completely out, and the 4 of Harris saw it too. He's making him pay for it. Oh, he didn't just make him pay for it. He made him literally regret doing that in the first place. Got a great jump off that, managing to hang in there. Interesting strategy out of the gate here to be able to work that momentum in and work the control of the truck here. But again, how long will that end up lasting for him? How long will that give him a chance here, as he's got so many things up for grabs, so much class and race to run out here. It's a bit of a handful to really take down some of the best guys, and a bit of a handful even more so to find an opening when they give you that chance. But they definitely got it there and got a bit of a break or two in with it. Through the back of the fields and the front sends we go. Nathan Meyer, the number 1, still, at least, well, still making that little joke up at the DuPont number 1 Chevrolet, at least representing its colors relatively well, at least remembering that it's supposed to be driving the Chevy when you're running the rainbow color schemes on that. And yet, somebody literally came at me the other day and said, Jeff Gordon used to drive for Ford before he got the Chevy. Yes, I know very well aware that he used to drive for Ford before he went to Chevy, so it's technically kind of a throwback, but he barely even ran a full season with that stuff here, so don't even come at me about that. Coming right around here, you can see a little bit of a battle going on between Triple Trey, the man can to play Whitehead, and the 88 Valvoline of Garth Snyder. Garth trying to do something he hasn't done in a while here, and that's put a victory here on Victory and PTM Racing TV. You know, this kid, though, I'll tell you one thing, he has got Indianapolis kind of in the back pocket, and it's kind of in his little wheelhouse, because this was the track he got his very first win on with us running here on the circuit. He actually drove the Fast and Fun Rally Challenge cars and the Daytona RX prototypes, put them out here and threw a haymaker and a half at everybody on the last lap. And that would be enough to put him into victory lane and put him into contention. Dakota Wilson, the number 52, driving it hard off the corners here throughout first half, turn 4, makes a pass around Snyder, though, as we go on board with him. Now Wilson, I believe I ran into him a few times. I believe he was one of the first drivers I actually went upon here and actually came out and raced with out on the circuits. Could have been another Dakota Wilson, but I'm pretty sure this is the one I raced with when I first got onto the sim and got onto iRacing before I really got really PT Race TV really became a bigger thing than it is now. Jacob Givens and Steve Clegg here having a little go tussle here as you got the GoYellow.com number 20 of Givens and then that old Wonder Bread number 22 of Clegg. Clegg's been known to bring out some pretty colorful schemes here out on our service and on our track before. And right now he is doing a pretty solid job keeping up with the 18th spot. It only is 3 laps down. You can see the tires kind of dripping in to that long stretch of road and that long stretch of field that the old Indianapolis Motor Speedway brings to the table. Jantic regaining the lead around Harris here as the field continues to fight it on out. This being a 55 lap race, I mean, you would think right there that's not too long for a race like this, but you got to remember something. We are literally hitting times of only about 53, 54 seconds per lap. So even though it may not seem like that long of a race, this is Indianapolis Motor Speedway and it's over 2.5 miles in length. It's not exactly a track you can just kind of let loose off and kind of give out into. Watch out though for the ball here. Josh Ball getting a little bit of that inside corner panel of Sean Bounty, and Bounty trying to put the Zanoa 34 in place to just hang on a little bit. Looks like a big push coming though from the 5 of Robert the Mullen Man Lawrence, trying to go to the outside or left side I should say to try to avoid any issues that 6 could bring to Bounty. I'll tell you one thing right now, when these guys hit those bumpers to one another, it's not going to be friendly because I've had my bumper pushed in on that first straightaway. Trying to hold that thing online was easier said than done, and that thing would just not go the way you would hope for. It's so hard to hold these over ton and a half trucks out on the field like that because it really, once you're in that corner, the next thing you know, you're slipping and sliding or you're literally having a hard time keeping the front end straight. You know you got a major problem on your hands. The Man Beast William Mann Jr. now piloting the 29-man's maintenance machine into the fight, into the fray, trying to bring the How to Suck at iRacing 29 up to the front here. Little corner off here. Nice drive down off of turn number 4. Gets a good push there right in with Garth Snyder in the 88. The Silverado trying to hold down that Valvoline machine, but the Valvoline 88 of Snyder man need to bring him back in and put a fight back on him. Pretty cut and dry, pretty close cornering fights here between these drivers. Obviously, nobody wanted to make a mistake yet. They want to just kind of hang in there and do what they need to do. But again, it makes it for a bit of an interesting challenge here because everyone tries to work their way around the place and around the track. They're not going to have a lot of areas to hit up from if they get too close to counter here. Down on the ends here, and race fans, if you're just tuning in for the first time here tonight, we do appreciate coming on board, but if you missed something here, you certainly missed a show just a little while ago. We have on our YouTube channel right now, Pushing Limits Racing League and the late model race down at Hickory Motor Speedway. If you missed that, you missed out on a pretty fun race. Not too long in length. I would definitely recommend going and check it out here. It is on our YouTube channel right now at PT Racing TV. As we got a little bit of a problem down there for Garth Snyder. Oh my! Snyder, you saw his truck just literally go straight right and almost like a slingshotted right into the wall protection. Tire did not grip, and now that truck's got badly damaged on the right side there. Passenger side just folded in the right front corner panel in the fender. Looks like it is broken to shreds, and I don't know how much longer that tire is going to last out, but good Lord almighty, Garth Snyder having major problems, and that's going to slow his momentum down. A tough break for him and the crew there, and I know that was certainly not what he wanted to do. Has a lot of history with this track, and certainly has a lot of history out on this place here. And speaking of guys that have a lot of history with together, James Harris and Craig Janzik, these two, this whole season, boy, what you was talking about having a little rivalry or two. These guys have been at each other's throats since day one. They have not given each other a break at all. And they are certainly not giving any breaks here tonight. Now, also, just a reminder here at home, this is something I want you guys to pay close attention to. I'm going to put the rear cam here onto Janzik's truck here. I want you to take a look at that banner there. Now, you see that banner on these trucks. That means one thing. They are now into the playoffs. This is the first race of the playoff series. If you see the green banner on the trucks here, like you see with Janzik and Harris, or even Lawrence and Wilcox, that means they are in the championship hunt. They are still in contention and have a possible shot at winning the Green Mountain Grills Fast and Fun Truck Series Championship. Now, there is kind of a caveat to that as well, though, because we do know the defending champion, Brian Lorenzo, is no longer in this series and on this circuit. So he is actually right now taking a bit of a leap and a jump forward into the Cup Series, and right now he's actually trying to go and take his very first season championship in the Cup division. He's got his first couple season wins here, obviously, here on Pete Race TV just a couple of weeks ago, but right now he's trying to defend his somewhat of a championship from the trucks to the Cup Series and show that he was not just a one-hit wonder by any means. Although, honestly, if he can find a way to win any of these championships, man, I'll tell you one thing, you're definitely no one-hit wonder in my opinion. The automotive finishes, number 1 of DuPont's Nathan Meyer currently holding down top 10 here with Jason Taylor, Tyler Meeks, and Brock Whitehead following in pursuit. Brock Whitehead, we saw come Friday night here on the Backfire Sim Racing side of things. He actually was racing out there with them at the duels, came to the Daytona Clash, and then the race itself, and mechanical problems costing the 82 precious chances and precious opportunities to go out and race with the field. It's good to see him, though, kind of bringing things back onto the track and back in full display here as he fights it out here with the top 10. Now moving through Jason Taylor in the number 15. Papa Beast in the house. He says, get her done. Papa Beast, when he comes on board, you know there's going to be some madness coming around these parts of town. Good to hear from you, though, there, Papa Beast. Sheldon Pearson, right, trying to keep his PM and Sons diesel track. Number 8 Chevrolet Silverado in this battle. He's up one spot at the moment, starting back in 12th. He's currently 11th. Doing a pretty good job kind of holding Triple Trey Can't Play Whitehead back there, but I don't know how long that will last him. Greg, Zanny Fan Janzik in the Elite Performance Industry Motorsports, number 40, trying to represent his new company and his time with them well. He's doing a great job so far this season since he came and debuted this truck and debuted the series. But you can even tell right now the Marauder James Harris in that Green Mountain Grills number 4 is trying to go out and prove why he is a former champion here on the circuit. He's bringing it all on the line and bringing all the pain that comes with it to Janzik. And I think Janzik is well aware that he is not out of the woods yet. And I ain't gonna lie to you as well, folks. I'm still waiting for the day we can actually host a legitimately Formula 1 / IndyCar race here on this Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Because I really do want to see what happens when we put those cars out on the track and what happens when we actually put, you know, the cars that were built for this track to race out here. Don't get me wrong, I love seeing fenders being put on the track, and I love seeing the Green Mountain Grills or the Power Equipment Fast Fun Cup Series bring out the Cup and Trucks division, but there's just something a little more special when you see the cars that are supposed to run out on a track, you know, actually go out there and put on a show and put on a battle. Charles Whitehead, who I've given the great begrudgingly nickname, as he puts it, the Paul Tracy of the Fast and Fun series. Right now, making a pretty clean pass around Adam Scrum, so we can't call him that anymore right now. That's a clean pass and it was a clear-cut move, so he is no Paul Tracy right now. How long that will last for beats me, because he can be a bit of a handful on that end. And Janzik apparently still not quite a fan of Harris. You gotta get that changed up sometime, or I swear Harris probably will end up giving you a bumper or two when he gets his hands on you. Or better yet, actually I got a better idea. Why don't we just go and take them and throw them over at Hickory Motor Speedway right now with these trucks here? I guarantee you that's a good reason to give them a bumper. For those that don't know, the last race we called, there was a lot of fenders and bumpers put together, and there was a lot of bump and runs to be had, and I think you guys can probably guess why. It's Old Hickory for your reason. Oh man, I tell you what though, it is a lot of fun though to go out and call those kind of races. I do wish we had more short track racing on the books. And originally that was what the Fast and Fun Truck Series had in mind, Same with the Champ Power Equipment Cup Series, but unfortunately that did not quite go out the way they planned it, the way they were hoping for as well, due to kind of unfortunate circumstances with just how the cars and the trucks would handle out there. They just decided it was better to just go ahead and take them and put them back on the big tracks and try to put on a bit more of a show for the fans at home. I mean, I gotta give them credit for at least trying to think about the fans and think about the drivers' end of that spectrum, but I mean, I will say there is a slight part of me that still wishes what we could have seen of what could have been. I mean, that'll always be there, so I mean, that's just me for you, though. Piling it around right now. Josh Ball currently holding down Christian Wilcox there, and the number 53 as the Champion Power Equipment machine tries to gain up there on the number 6. The old red, white, and blue represented here by Josh Ball tonight, trying to represent him well and trying to represent the country through that he calls home. He's currently up 4 spots here where he started at 7th place today. And the one thing I'm kind of noticing with him right at the start here was kind of his control of the truck as he comes off turn 1. He's actually having a lot of problems down there, actually keeping that thing from getting a little too loose, a little too sideways here. And I'm not really sure if that is currently just something on his end that is just getting him a little too out of shape and out of whack, or maybe it might be more than that. Bottom line, it is not looking like 110%. He'll have to kind of get it scrapped away and kind of get it figured out later on, because he's got some company coming up on him now. Here comes that everlasting mullet man, Robert Lawrence now, and Christian Wilcox. Ball losing too much traction, lost too much ground. And the Blaster Master, you can just see that thing. That thing is just swinging right and left. I don't even know how on earth he's holding that line in, much as holding that truck down to the track. That thing should have been lost and found there sometime or another, but it still hangs on. How he does it, how he's doing it, I have no idea, but man, talk about hanging on. Coming right around here, Wilcox and Lawrence still at each other's game plan here. Each one of them trying to outpace and outwit the other. This is the race that we'd like to see. Oh, they come around out of turn number 4, and the mullet man trying to park it down in pit road quickly. Gonna use the Marauder James Harris as kind of an example to work with here, as we still have a battle between Wilcox and Ball. Every other one of the drivers right now heading into pit road while he gets settled up for another pit stop. This is really what's going to boil down to strength and smarts here. It's figuring out where you can go from and where you can get things dialed in at. And I guarantee you right now, that pit strategy they just did right there definitely will help them out. And now it'll be Wilcox heading to pit road, so Ball will take over second. Jantic's still going to be a race leader here as the rest of our field work their way around the track, and every driver figures out where they're going to hit up for pit stops here. Who will be able to outlast and outsurvive, and will anyone have anything to catch this Annie fam? We're going to find out when we return. Tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen, has been brought to you in part by our good friends over at Green Mountain Grills. When you guys need the best wood-fired pellet grills on the market, there is only one brand and name that everyone trusts in, and that is with the Green Mountain Grills. Be sure to check them out on their website at www.greenmountaingrills.com, and also check them out on their social media platforms at Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You guys will not be disappointed. Check them out, greenmountaingrills.com. I'll tell you one thing here. The Iowa winters here are cold and they're brutal. And even though I know I'm down here in Indianapolis, Indiana, and I know the winters here are pretty bad too, I can tell you one thing right now. I can't find a grill out there that saved my life other than the Green Mountain Grills that actually can hold up to my Iowa winters and still let me go out and grill up as much as I want to. And this isn't me just being like a little tagline advertiser. I'm legitimately serious. Like, I have some friends that actually own a few Green Mountain Grills, and I've got one. And I've got a family member of mine that does have one, and she tells me all the time how good it is. And I tried it out for myself. I was quite impressed because we just got hit with about 14 inches of snow here, and it works perfectly. Like, it's almost perfect. Kind of helps out with the scenario, and kind of helps out with the situation, I will say. So it definitely makes up for the difference and everything in between. Firing off right now, Sean the Bounty Hunter. Bounty is your race leader at the moment here, while the Zanny fan Craig Janzik tries to hunt him back down here. And with Janzik being out a little bit later there than Sean Bounty, that definitely helps out his pit road strategies as much as it did actually for his long-term strategy. And I guarantee you, more than anything right now, the Bounty Hunter knows that it's just a matter of time before Janzik decides to get a hard run, a hard charge here leading into the corner. Bounty, though, trying to block it off, trying to not let him by. Remember, Sean has got a bit of a one-up on Janzik before, and it was back in the Fast and Fun Cup Series. And the next gen car is actually down at, of all places, Janzik's home track, Watkins Glen. The way Indianapolis Motor Speedway, in my opinion, kind of runs is that kind of road course mentality. You gotta watch the corners, you gotta tighten them up and hit them just right, or this track will bite and it will get you. I can't even begin to tell you and fathom how many times I've just keep running out here, and next thing I know, everything just gets completely out of shape and out of whack, and all of a sudden I'm lost all my ground and all my run. Jacob Gibbs holding up just ahead of Stephen Clegg, as well as the Man Beats Wayman Jr. and Dakota Wilson, as now the field comes right up at him. That's my freshly made, homemade lemonade stand boy himself, Stephen Bless, bringing back the lemonade stand 69 as he continues to shout the charge and fire him on off. I wonder if he added any more vodka lemonades in there. I have to ask him. I think he threw in a couple for me. That's always nice of him. Down the back straight away they go here. Wilson with the early advantage here, trying to lead off with Willie Mann Jr. right up ahead, just barely through the corners in the draft zone and in the distance. Every driver for themselves here as they continue to hold the line down. You can see just how tight they have got to corner off and how they got to keep those rear fenders from not getting too far away from them. Here comes a big move off here from Dakota Wilson as he gets this right up to the Man Beast. The Man Beast is a little bit in trouble right out of here as he tries to hold on for dear life here. That draft package is so strong, so perseverant. It will get you when you least expect it, and it can make things for a little more difficult runoffs and a little bit more of a difficult scenario to block and grab. Wilson put it right up at the Man Beast. I don't think Man Jr. wants to do anything about trying to make any big passes right now. Maybe trying to hold on. working their way around the track, inside zones, inside corners here. Every single one of these drivers doing a tremendous job piloting these things off and around each corner, each distance. They have not missed the beat or not missed the show just yet. The flex fuel number 20, Jacob Gibbons right now keeping his E85 ethanol machine right in the mix of this into the battle zone, as you see Steve Blake just kind of sneaking that little nose of his right into the fender and then the corner panel. Chantic, by the way, has regained the lead from Bounty. Bounty has lost that, as now James Harris and Tyler Meeks trying to work together to draft off one another and try to get something going to get up to them again. So much at stake, obviously, tonight. So much going on the line here as drivers are just getting really started off with this season, getting started with this brand new playoff scenario in this format. Everybody just doing what they can to hang on and do what they can get here. Jason Taylor now looking to keep Brock Whitehead down off the back straightaway. He does not want him to make any big moves, any big charges here, but you can see the power coming from the number 82. The blue 82 looking to try to take down the Remington number 15 there of Taylor. These guys know each other well. They've battled each other before and gone to war with one another. They will do whatever it takes to outsmart, outwit each other, and you can see Taylor doing what he can, trying to swing it left, swing it right, trying to get this thing to book a little bit off that draft, trying to push everything away from him. Coming down through the corner here, down out of turn number 2. Watch out, here comes Whitehead into the charge. Taylor trying to hold him back, trying to keep him away from the distance and trying to keep him from that corner in as we take a sky cam view from up top above of the beautiful skies of Indianapolis Motor Speedway and the landscape beside it. And yes, your eyes do not deceive you. That is a golf course and a whole pond and section and an area here. This is, again, it's 2.5 miles in length with a road course built into it. This is by far, in my opinion, one of the most historic and impressive venues and tracks in the entire racing world, for its history and its development that it's brought to the motorsport community and the motorsport industry. Daytona 500 may be a very special place, and the Daytona International Speedway may be a very warm fitting track for many of the fender drivers as well as guys that have come before it, but there's one thing it cannot hold a candle to, is the fact that it really cannot hold any open wheel races there unless you count the road courses.
There's a golf course here?
What the? Yeah, Thacker, when the heck can you not leave me alone and keep into my interrupt for these stuff?
I don't know, man. I'm back here in the back. I figured I'd just come see what's going on up here.
You're just scared the heck out of me while I'm trying to call the race up here in the booth. I don't know how the heck you intercepted my lines. You probably do the same thing you do when you get the NPR logo and video up.
Yeah, I got people for that. Got some hackers online.
Yeah, presuming you probably want to play that here again tonight, aren't you?
I plan to, but we might not have a caution to do it.
I don't think you're gonna have any time to do it. If I had a caution, I'd be talking to other people, not just you.
Yeah, I know it. So, funny story. I'm getting ready, and my steering wheel and everything is not configured.
Mm-hmm.
And I had 0 practice for this race. And when I go to chat, it turns the engine off. So.
Turns the engine off?
Yeah, I hit I was going to type something in the chat, and it turned the engine off. Like it binded the ignition switch to the chat button for some reason.
No, I was about to say, maybe you need to reconfigure the switch to where it actually is on your rig itself, or like how I do with my base.
I should do something.
I think you probably should do something too. I mean, we're watching you battle a little bit here with Zach Derrick, since you kind of wanted to have a little eyes on you in this case. We'll go on board here with Mr. Derrick. But I mean, right now, it seems like you're having a little bit of a trouble kind of catching this draft, kind of catching that zone. Does the tires beat up a little bit down there?
Yeah, it is. I enter well, but then driving off the turn, you'll see right there, a little power slide. I drive off the right rear too much skinny pedal, and I'm punishing the rear, and I'm sliding sideways on every corner exit. But it's fun. It's fun, but it's not fast.
I'm gonna ask just real quick. I've never heard the term skinny pedal. Maybe you can explain to fans, viewers, and myself included, what does that mean exactly?
Well, the gas pedal is really skinny, and the brake pedal's fat because you're supposed to use your brakes. But I just keep the skinny pedal hammered down.
That sure explains a lot.
Anyway, you want me to come dump Zach Derrick, or do you think I should pass him clean?
I think you should try to pass him clean, because right now we've got a bit of a clean battle going on right up ahead. Just quite a bit of ways from you here, though. But Tyler Meeks having a little bit of a fussle here in the Camping World 35 now with the 53 of Christian Wilcox. I guess if they flip-flop number, they flip-flop positions, and now they are literally in a hot brigade off of turn number 2, as now Josh Ball saw a huge opening. He snuck his way in. He says, all right, I've read the Daily News. I want the Daily Double, please. Brings it right in through turn 3, and he gets the Daily Double. He pulls 2 for the price of 1.
How do you come up with that stuff?
I have absolutely
just
no
wing it?
idea. Yeah, I've been pretty much just winging. I kind of do what you do. I just kind of intervene and just kind of interpret whatever I hear in the chats, and the next thing I know, I'll just kind of come up with whatever I can think of.
Ah, I got you. All right. This next corner, I'm taking Zach out. Or not taking him out. I'm passing him cleanly, but he's done after this. I'm tired of following him.
Zach Derrick,
Jesus.
it back into this. He's all delayed on a red here.
Never mind. I'm not chasing. I'm not passing Zach Derrick. I'm just following him until I get new tires. But I'll go back in my hole. Will not see me as
you don't have to go into your hole. I mean, you can hang around with us a little bit. Just remember, when I'm calling a race, you're going to hear me calling a race. Well, there you go. There's your pass around the 10. Now can you hold your line down and keep it away from him?
Nah.
Yeah.
I pass them better when they have the fear of me crashing them. They get out of my way and run them off their line. It makes me get around them quicker.
So pretty much every time you get on the track is pretty much how it works then, right?
Yes. I pass people because they just get out of the way because I'm a wrecking ball.
I was about to say, you're more of a wrecking ball than Miley Cyrus is these days.
Yes. That song plays every time I get close to far.
I don't even want to know.
Anyway, I'm going to go back in my hole. Enjoy the race, everybody.
Oh, you might want to get back your hole quickly. We got problems down here off turn 4. We got one into the wall protection right there. I think that might be the 8 of Sheldon Pearson trying to get a copy on that one. No, that was not. Trying to get a grid look of it. Can you see him coming off the end there? Who that might be is in the black and blue car. No, he already left us. Well, that was mean of him. Alright, sorry about that, folks. That was the attacker of Golden Lions Mayor John Thacker intervening there. I couldn't tell who was the one that got a little too loose and sidewinded it right off of turn 4, so I can't go back and look at the replay, unfortunately. But we got a little bit of movement coming through the field now, as pit strategies were put into test and put into field play. A lot of links here to run off of these trucks, and obviously it seems like there's about 20 to 22 laps of fuel that these drivers are using with one another right now. As Rod Baker's number 2, Rustaful Bor Kilgore, passed in by that number 1 of Nathan Meyer. Now Meyer looking to try and take another one out more than usually Michael Myers does in his movies. He's got the Black Mamba number 23 of Joshua Caudill representing well that old Black Mamba Foundation machine. Still can't believe after all these years now, we still have lost Kobe, man. I mean, I'm not a basketball player, but I at least know who he was, and I'm a basketball fan. I didn't really know anything about basketball players, but I'm not a huge basketball fan, but I at least knew him as a player. But it's still kind of weird to me, man, like knowing that that's transpired and that's gone. And speaking of transpired and gone, I think Mario was like, yeah, I'm not really wanting to hear the story again here, bud. So he just swings it right to the left and takes it away from the number 23. Field stretched out a bit here, packed off from the get-go. But Josh Ball, Sean Bounty, Christian Wilcox, they're all tight in a nice little community and a package deal here. About 19 remaining, about 18 to go here. It's just been a clean go-around race, and I'm pretty surprised by that, honestly, because I was expecting Maybe a few more fenders pushed in, maybe a few more bumpers kind of taken for a little charge or two. Hammering in through the field. Adam Strom, a little bit of problems down there, unfortunately, in the number 95. Looks like he has a little bit of a situation popped up there. We'll take a look at the PTM Mr. replay presented by Green Mountain Grills to see what happened here. Looks like he might have kind of did a little tail whip as he was coming off of pit road. This seems to be the case here, unfortunately. He comes right through turn 1. And you can see this is a little bit interesting here about Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's a very tight centered off corner exit. You've got to be careful when you come off pit road. You saw him hit the throttle way too soon, and the Mobile 195 just really had no chance. Managed to get around Taylor and avoid wrecking him out, but unfortunately that's not going to help his cause any for the later half now. $17 laps remaining here with Wilcox and Ball. Looking like maybe they'll have another tussle or two. Looks like they maybe give him something to think about here. Harris, Wilcox, and all them, and Ball going back in. Great, Zenifam Janzik, no surprise here. He stays on out, and he's just going to continue to drive that industry. He'll just continue to drive that machine, that elite performance industry number 40 Toyota Subaru. All around, there's Subaru. Oh, I'm gonna get crucified for that one. The Tundra, I meant to say, the Toyota Tundra. All around the track here and just around the field. I cannot believe for the life of me I just made that mistake. That definitely just... Subaru is the sports car for those at home that do not know for sure. The Tundra is the actual truck itself, so I apologize in advance. Coming back into the zone, George Young, number 48, staying on out a little later here. Looks like he's going to try and hopefully find a little bit of a breakthrough, a little bit of a momentum getter here. See if he can kind of hammer it down, keep the Man Beast in check. As old Man Beast will head into pit road with Young. You hear the way they back off the motors and back off the trucks there. They will line them down into the field zone. Back on board here with the Dakota Wilson into number 52. Wilson trying to mount the field off and get ahead of Janzik. Maybe looking to do a little bit more damage on him than I think we realized here. Janzik is heading out of pit road though right now. Ooh, he's got to be careful. We saw earlier if you get a little too aggressive, that grassy flame will catch you. And he ends up kind of keeping himself under control, and now rails it right off. So now only about a 2-second gap separating him between him and Wilson. While Meeks in the 35 pushing a lot of power under the hood and pushing a lot of momentum down on the track. He's got Rusty Fullbore Kilgore with a little bit of a drafting side here to get around, but also a little bit of a help to get up to the Zanifam. Janzik knows if he's not careful with that 35 kind of coming in through the field, he might get caught up in a bad spot. James Harris also right in there with them. Here's there's problems down there for Kilgore. Kilgore slides it off the corner end of turn number 4, ends up into the grassy flame, but managed to save it. Great driving there by him, and then stay out of the way of the Marauder, James Harris. Sean Bounty isn't exactly going to be the same kind of niceness that you saw a minute ago. The Bounty Hunter comes to claim, he comes to find his line. Every driver now been in pit road enough to get themselves enough fuel, enough tire on them to keep going. Tyler Meeks and Harris once again battling it out. Once a shot, once a two. One for the money, two for the show. And let's see where this one goes off of turn number 2. What a move there by Harris, coming right off that end. Looks like he'll try to challenge the 35. Makes a nice pass, solid line down in the inside zone, and Meeks not able to hang on. Harris now looking to try and maybe bring this one back up to Jantic. Jantic's only got about a 4-second gap here on the Marauder. He's going to try to use some drafting partners here and use a little bit of help from one another. But Thacker kind of getting in the bit of the way for a brief fleeting minute. Goes to the outside, or the right side, I should say, to stay off the end there for Jantic. Bit of a smart strategy there to let him be and leave him alone. Let him do his own thing. And he knows if he gets a little too crazy, a little too out of shape and out of whack here, that can get them both into trouble. Brothers Trey and Brock right now, 6th and 7th respectively. Trey the hard charger of the night. We haven't talked much about the Buffalo Springs Wild Wings machine, but I'll tell you right now, he has pretty much been the go-getter here of this race. He has been moving the chains, moving the field up. He's managed to get through a lot of guys and really taking everything with stride. Pretty interesting here, because I thought honestly he would be a little bit more tested, a little bit more in a predicament here in this case, but no, that is not the situation. Pretty easy going, easy race for him as long as he can just go out and finish this track. Deep leg in the 22 right now, also doing much of the same here in the Wonder Bread machine, trying to keep his Chevrolet Silverado up there with the Paxton, up there with the field, as even the bounty hunter Sean Bounty trying to get Pitt's chances up for the Toyota Tundras. Just for the record, folks, there's only 3 Toyota Tundras in this 28 truck field, and Bounty and Jantic are your top 3. They're first and third right now. The only other one there is Adam Scrum in the 95 here, and his Toyota Tundra is in the 25th position right now due to some mechanical failures and some issues down on the truck side of things. Really not a whole lot he can do, or really a whole lot he can really help himself with. He's just kind of hoping that it can work out a long-term distance, long-term run. Bounty really trying to make a statement here and make an early get-go in the playoffs format. Obviously, with the 34, he knows he cannot give in, he cannot give out. And I still remember, you know, it may have been a long time ago, but there is one thing I do remember about this track and this race in particular, is a while back in the green, it was on the same situation with the Green Mountain Girls Fast Fun Truck Series, that James Harris and Craig Janzik on the final laps leading into the final leg of this race, they came off a turn 4 virtually even, and maybe the most shocking race difference was both drivers completely taken for a ride and taken for a little situation. We go 3 wide saluting right here behind all of them. Zach Derrick trying to get his laps back, trying to get his time back. He gets it right through the field and mounts a huge charge up. Pretty impressive right now from the number 10 Red Bull Silverado as he looks to try to take down Harris here. But as I was saying, they come off turn 4 virtually even. Janzik and Harris would literally go down off the ends of the front straightaway. Janzik would try to block Harris. Harris would drive it in and continue to push. And Janzik, because of that block just being far enough ahead, he actually kept it in line to where Harris could not pass him at the line. Many fans, myself included, were absolutely stunned and thrilled with the race and the finish. But I will say, I guarantee you that Harris has not forgotten that day. He has not forgotten that moment that transpired here. And if somehow, some way it happens again, I guarantee you he will not hesitate to get Janzik out of his way this time, so that he cannot pursue that move 2 times in a row. It's bad enough to pursue it once, but pursuing it twice, that could get you a little crazy here. Brock Whitehead holding back the number 6 of Josh Ball. Ball did not get the chance to make it into the playoffs despite making a couple wins in this season and a couple race victories. A surprising situation now, not allowing him to be able to hammer down and give himself a fighting chance here in this series. He told me earlier that it is a little disappointing that he was not able to come away with the W here in the playoffs of the season championship, but he is proud of his serious accomplishments and his race wins. Throughout the season, Wilcox, Janzik, Ball have all claimed victory. Ball actually going back-to-back, Meyer and Janzik going pretty much virtually dead even. And then just a while ago, Fornshell and Janzik would take it into perspective and take it on the charge. And James Marauder Harris at Dover would find himself in victory lane to really help secure this championship season for him. The All-Stars event, though, went to Triple Trey. Came to play Whitehead, and a solid performance there. Bristol would then hit up for Man Lawrence, finally figuring some things out. Then it would be Meyer at Auto Club, and Homestead Miami Speedway saw James Harris finally initiate another victory and another brigade there on the track. Six laps remain right now, and about a 5-second gap earlier. It's a 6.5 plus gap now. James Harris is not catching Janzik by any means. I think Janzik is well aware of what I said earlier, and he's like, oh, wait a minute, I remember that now. I probably should get ahead here so that way Harris doesn't catch me. He knows what he'll do, and he knows what he'll bring to the table. 5 laps to go this time by. We'll have the Zanny fam mounting the charge, mounting the field. Top 3 will talk with us after this race concludes. And next week, I promise you, we'll have a lot more drivers to talk with here because I'll bring them in sooner or later. A pretty solid battle here coming through the fields, though. Tyler Meeks and Josh Ball going at it. And even back behind all of them, the Man Beast, Wayman Jr., still fighting with Gibbons, Pless, and Mr. Young behind it. George Young, I think, really just get more experience, trying to get more of a feel on the track here. Certainly is doing what he can do, what he can bring to the table. Chris Medford coming on board as well here tonight. I think he was talking about that little situation we saw at turn 4, with giving in the little comment, he gone. That little Duck Dynasty reference there, ain't it, Medford? Good to hear from you, sir, and we will see you come Thursday night, my friend. For those at home that don't know, Chris Medford is a part of the Spartan Logistics Management LLC iRacing IROC Series Challenge, and they will be back at it come Thursday night. Stay tuned for that one and all the listing racing you'll see. Follow us on Twitter, and you'll never miss a beat there on what we got going in store. Also, head over to our YouTube and subscribe there so you never miss any of the races. This race will be there in its entirety if you missed it, so do not worry. It will be able to be watched and previewed once again. Also, if you guys want to check out some more of the content and want to always see when we go live, for the most part here on Facebook, it's where most of the coverage comes from. Head over to there and subscribe and like and follow us here on our Facebook, and you'll never miss a beat. Wednesday night we have a new series in the Misfit Racing League coming out on board, and then of course some major implications being done up by the Champion Power Equipment Cup Series guys tomorrow night, as the playoffs will conclude with one last final battle, which will give us our top 4. The Monster Mile decides their fates. Which one will be which one will be able to go to the next spot? We'll find out soon. Never to ask where are we at Thursday? You really don't even know where you're at Thursday? All right, I'll tell you. You're going to you're going to Darlington Raceway, sir. Have fun with that one. Next Gen Cup Series at Darlington Raceway. I am curious to see what happens there. All I know is somebody is probably gonna be figuring out why that track is named Too Tough to Tame. And believe me, I wish there was a few more 3-wide salutes. Yeah, but right now these guys have been pretty much kind of doing kind of a tandem drafting package deal, if you will. Then that pit strategy's kind of been playing out for the most of this race here. That's what's been kind of getting these drivers in and out of this field and in and around this track. And Bounty right now with Wilcox, just a complete back and forth affair here with only 2 laps to go. Jantic and Harris right now are just far enough ahead. They don't have to worry about nothing. But I'll tell you one thing. Wilcox is not giving an inch here to Bounty. Bounty, the bounty hunter, is trying to wiggle him off more than a snake usually tries to wiggle off his skin. He cannot get that. He cannot get that 53 Champ Power Equipment Cup truck machine to get away from him here. But off of turn number 3 into 4, going into 4 now. 2 laps will change to 1. As does any fan. Craig Janzik with his Elite Performance Industry Motorsports machine, piloting in a solid run and a solid night, keeping well far ahead of James Harris. While we see these two continue to go back and forth at one another, ladies and gentlemen, this is the white flag lap. We'll focus in a little bit as we go along for the ride. Oh, look out down there. Sheldon Pearson getting tagged in a little bit there by Garth Snyder off of turn 4. Snyder with that little move there, actually making the nice pass. Wilcox going straight to the outside, looking to try to cross him over here. Or will he actually try to pass him on the outside? He's going to try and dive it in hard here. He is pushing a full throttle charge off that turn 2 exit, trying to get it to stick. He does indeed. He forces Bounty to stay low. Wilcox will give it everything he can there, coming to the line, coming to the end of this one. But off of turn number 3 and 4, Craig Dzani Fan Janzik will find himself back where he started just a year ago. Victory lane belongs to the Zanny fam. Second will be James Marauder Harris, and we've got a drag race to the finish line here between these two. Which one's it going to be? Janzik, it's going to be either Wilcox or Bounty to the finish line. By a tire length, that's going to be Sean Bounty with 0.02 of a second to separate them out. How about that? Yeah, that's what you call yourself a finish and a half there. It doesn't matter if it's for the race lead or it's really for the 5th place spot. That is a great battle to say the least. But starting his campaign off strongly, does any fan, Craig Janzik, pulls away with the W and a big victory for him and his team and his crew here as the rest of the field finishes out their run. Unbelievable there, folks. Some absolute heart-punching moments there and a clean race from start to finish. Brock Head and Trey Whitehead all going to finish 5 and 6, so the brothers having a little bit of a moment there, just kind of celebrating down on that end. Medford asking, do I think the Crowlett Larson wall ride will work in Darlington? Yeah. I think it may work on the final lap, but no other laps. So I'm going to tell you, Medford. I'm only saying that just so he'll do it, just see if it actually works. You think you're hearing me on camera? What do you mean you're hearing me on camera? Okay, I might be in trouble then. Josh Ball on the 6, just kind of put it in reverse here. I think he's just had enough of this one tonight. Here is the final results presented by Green Mountain Grills here. The Zanny fan Craig Janzik bops away with the W by a margin of error there. Pretty well for James Harris. So second, third, going to Sean Bounty in a heated drag race to the finish line between him and Wilcox. Trey Whitehead, Brock Whitehead coming 5th and 6th respectfully. Josh Ball 7th, 8th to Tyler Meeks, 9th to Jason Taylor, 10th to the Man Beast, William Mann Jr. And that will round out your top 10 in this case. The rest of your finishers being popped up on your screen right now. Let's take it down now, talk here with our field of drivers and listen in with them. Joining me in right now, coming away with 3rd place and nearly losing it out to the line. It's the bounty hunter, Sean Bounty, now with us here. And Sean, congratulations, sir, on a 3rd place finish here. And I gotta ask you this, my man. You literally were in a bit of a rough spot there with Wilcox. That drag race to the line was certainly something.
Yeah, I got a whole new setup, monitor, wheel, pedals, a whole bunch of stuff I got to get used to still. This whole race was uncomfortable. Added that the loose on exit for everybody was fun, but working the wheel and not really feeling out my system, that was a bit of heart pounding. And yeah, I kept early pit and try to get some spots. Maybe there'd be a caution and just kind of hang up with the leaders. The first couple times it just took some time getting used to everything and the rhythm. And yeah, I was on a bit older tires and he kept coming, and man, hats off to him. That was a hell of a race. He kept on me hard, and I just basically just everything I could think of, which line at which, sometimes I felt like I could hold him off if I let him take the inside, and the end, I had to figure out, do I want him on the inside or outside? Because there were a lot of times where I could hold him off on the outside, and but yeah, I could see him struggling. So I felt like taking the inside would be the best, kind of to preserve the last couple laps, and it was a lot of fun. It was intense. I know the the leaders there. They probably were enjoying where they were sitting, but probably had a really boring race. Um, Kind of glad I can finish that one out on a high note, maintaining third, I should say. But yeah,
Well, I could definitely say you and Wilcox stole the show on that last half. They were putting up a bit of a fight and putting on a big run to the end. So I have to ask you, sir, as you walk away here with the third place finish, is there anybody you want to thank for that one?
yeah, got thank you guys up at the booth, putting on this race at PTM Racing TV, uh, GMG, the Green Mountain Grills guys, for letting us run this series and have a good time here. It is so much fun racing this, guys, and yeah, I guess Wilcox for allowing us to have this entertaining show for you, and otherwise might have been a boring lead to the finish.
I don't know about that. I mean, I had some moments in there those other guys were battling out. So, but we'll leave it at that.
There were indeed, especially that lap traffic for a couple laps there.
For sure, that Bounty. Congratulations, man, and we'll see you later on in this series, man.
Thank you.
Sean the Bounty here, Bounty coming away with a third place finish here tonight, but coming away second this time yet again. But nevertheless, the Marauder, James Harris. Ed Harris, here at Indy, my friend, it was 1 season ago, 1 year ago, you and Janzik, well, for lack of a better words, you two just really put everything on the line and put everything out on the track. Here, coming to the line here, obviously a bit of a different story, but nevertheless, you still put on quite the show here, to say the least.
I'm surprised you managed to stay awake during that race.
Well, that's one way to start the conversation, if you ask me.
I mean, I was in the race and I was bored. Well, the first 15 laps though was kind of fun. Me and Craig, kept swapping the lead back and forth, and this setup we used felt great when I tested it, but for some reason during the race it was really really slick, and I'm really surprised with that. We went caution free, but I messed up on my first pit stop, and that got me behind Craig, and without a caution, I just had no shot. But I'll take a P2 to start the playoffs and get some momentum going that way.
For sure, they're now kind of running off the momentum here, and then going into the final race come tomorrow at Dover. I mean, how much does this translate over for you tomorrow night, as you're going to have to really all your hands full and then some with your team and yourself?
Yeah, I think confidence-wise it can help, because I've been on a pretty good string here lately in both of our leagues. I think in Cup I've got, I think a top 5 in every playoff race but one, and that was maybe a 6th or a 7th. So, no, it was at 17th at Talladega. But that's Dega, right? And trucks, I've finally, come on here lately. So we're carrying this momentum. We got some good confidence building up. I think we got a decent point lead going into tomorrow for the top 4. So as long as we don't have a catastrophe tomorrow night, knock on wood somewhere, we should make the final 4 at Auto Club, and that's going to be one hell of a race, I believe.
Certainly there indeed. Well, nevertheless, though, you're going to walk away with a solid position and a performance here. So I have to ask you, as you come away here with a second place finish, who do you want to thank you for that one?
And I thank Kevin Kirscher, Blackstone Management, for putting all of our leagues together. Without them, none of this would be possible. Grey Mountain Grills for sponsoring our truck league and my truck and my Cup car in the Champion Power Equipment Cup Series. Also want to thank Blaster, AC Avalanche, and Blue Spring Mountain Water.
For sure there, James. Thank you so much for your time here. Congratulations on the second place finish. A perfect way to start off this series and the start for the playoffs.
Thanks, man. Have a good night.
You too. Ladies and gentlemen, the Marauder, James Harris, and he brings home another solid performance in position here tonight. It's time now, though, race fans, to talk at last with the Zanny fan, Craig Janzik, your race winner here tonight. Craig Janzik, congratulations, sir, as we just popped one screen on from Harris to seeing his face again. Apparently, you still have a little rivalry with him leading in even into this championship playoff hunt.
I wanna create the press about that, but I honestly just haven't yet remembered to change that picture from that 1 week thing we did with that. So my bad on that. I don't want to create any hashtag fake insert other word here, but we don't need that. Harris and I are all good. We played nice there in the first run when we were still together. We let each other pass for the lead like a handful of times, which I really enjoyed, and we were able to overcome that for a dominating victory.
You may have been nice and clean all the way from the start to the finish, but I mean that does not mean the same here when it came to how you had to finish it out here. You had to get through some traffic, had to get through some people here in that pit stop end, and then once everything kind of took over from there, it seemed like it was smooth sailing on the car, wasn't it?
It was smooth sailing. This setup was amazing. It was loose, which I think I make no secret. That's what I want to drive. I want to drive a loose car. It's just a hell of a lot more fun. It takes a little bit more input and effort out of it, so I really enjoy that. But it was definitely a loose car, and I'm really happy with the guys that we were able to keep it all the way clean this whole time. And it showed that we've come a long way, because a track like this, I don't know. We ran it last season. I feel like we wrecked a lot, and we had a green white checkered. So I'm happy with that turnaround.
For sure there. So I have to ask you, with that turnaround and a victory, setting yourself up here in the playoffs, who do you want to thank you for this one tonight?
Yeah, got to thank Green Mountain Grills league sponsor, our associate league sponsor, Champion Power Equipment, AC Avalanche, Blaster. Thanks to Kevin Kirscher and the boys at BSM for all they do for us. And thanks to Elite Performance Industries for being on my car and sponsoring me for this truck. Excuse me. I hate to be that guy. And thanks to the Free Beer and Hot Wings Morning Show as well for their support. I love it. And thanks to you for the broadcast. Boy, you really must have had a lot to talk about throughout this event, because you just certainly didn't have anyone to talk to.
We'll just let you watch the broadcast back. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Deal, man. Deal. Thank you. And I can't wait to see you at Dover, Delaware tomorrow night. Hopefully we get ourselves a championship 4 berth there.
We'll see you there, man. James, congratulations, man.
Thank you, buddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, the number 40, the Elite Performance Industry Motorsports machine, that is Craig Zanfan Janzik, walking away with the W with the Green Mountain Grills Fast Fun Truck Series. Thank you again to them, and thank you again to all you fans out there. From all of us here at Pizza Race TV, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate your support. The green flag will charge high in the air next time on by, so stay tuned for more. We'll see you then.